Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here, your source for gaming, tech, emulation, and open source news. Let's get started. Alright, to kick things off, we're talking about Nintendo Switch emulation with Eden, and we talked about this one I think in yesterday's video in regards to progress they were making with the Snapdragon 8 Elite. And it does seem that they've been making very serious progress. So there is a relatively recent post up on Reddit emulation on Android that is seemingly generating a little bit of buzz. And that post is titled, "Finally Could Play Zelda Breath of the Wild in Eden with the Snapdragon 8 Elite." And there's a screenshot here of the game up and running at around 30 frames per second. There are a couple of things I want to point out. First and foremost, this is the opening room of the game. I'm assuming once Link makes it out into the main world, the frame rate will drop. This is a contained area. And secondly here, someone says, need a proper video sample instead of a picture to see the performance, but either way, good for you. Now, the interesting part is that screenshot seems to be from this video here from Max's Tech Review, and it's titled, "Zelda Breath of the Wild is perfect on Snapdragon 8 Elite. New Eden emulator fixes." When I first saw that video title, when I first saw the screenshot, I assumed that the game frame rate would be dropping and this title was a little bit of clickbait. But that does not seem to be the case. My assumption was really incorrect. The video here showcases the game running at almost a locked 30 frames per second, even in the main world. Now, I don't know about you, but I would say overall that is very, very impressive. And if you're interested and wanted to learn more about it, like everything we talk about, links will be within the GitHub link in the bottom of the description below. I don't hide my sources. So overall here, Eden seems to be making some pretty serious advancements, and I'm very curious to see what's next. And speaking about advancements, next up we're talking about Felix86, where they say run x86 and x86 64 games on RISC-V. And Felix86 just released version 25.10, and there are some serious advancements. So Felix86 previously stated they were working on performance, and they seem to have really delivered on that promise. There's performance improvements, bug fixes, and even more here. And they say a bunch of older titles can now run on Felix86, like Far Cry, Doom 3, Assassin's Creed, and more, including Hitman Blood Money. If you are interested in learning more about Felix, I would recommend checking out their website and blog post, and Felix86 is 100% free and open source. And speaking about 100% free, next up here we're talking about Zomborg. And Zomborg right now on Steam, which only has a mixed review overall, is 100% free. It appears the main complaints about this game is that it's relatively simplistic. It's just a top-down shooter. Some of the aiming mechanics aren't that great, and some people are frustrated with the lack of perceived power from the firearms versus zombies. However, at a price point of 100% free, it may be worth exploring, maybe not. And speaking about free stuff, next up we're talking about 4/play, or subscribe to Mr. Sujano, or 4play, depending on how you wanted to pronounce that. Anyways, 4play we've talked about in a previous video is a high-performance MAME front end. That it's not necessarily new, it's been worked on for a while, but did just get a recent update. And something interesting here was a recent change to their GitHub. So when we talked about this front end earlier on, there was a bit of a controversial part in it in the credits where they credited AI. And it seems as if all references to AI have been removed from this thing. Furthermore, taking a look at the discussions here, and I don't see any references to AI. So I'm kind of curious as to why that was removed. Maybe the AI coding was removed, maybe they didn't use AI. Or maybe they're just not disclosing that they're using AI. But either way here, and I hate to say this, we're probably going to see AI utilized in a lot more things as time goes on. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a normal part of everyday life. Things seem to be going that way anyway. And speaking about things going a certain way, next up we're talking about Microsoft. And we've been talking about Microsoft quite a bit recently, and it just seems that things are not going well at all in terms of the overall public perception about Microsoft and Xbox and recent changes. And there's some very interesting stories up on Insider Gaming that I would recommend checking out. Now, I've seen this stuff reported in a bunch of different places, and I think Insider Gaming has done a decent job in piecing this stuff together. For example, this article titled here, "Lost Call of Duty Sales Has Reportedly Cost Microsoft Millions." and millions, not 1 or 2 million, but like $300 million in lost revenue. And that was reported by Bloomberg. And this article here titled Microsoft Removes DLC Discounts for Xbox Game Pass Members, and it has been updated with a quote from Microsoft. This is not specific to any one game and reflects all games and DLC purchases. Instead of a discount on the purchases, Ultimate and Premium subscribers will earn 10 and 5% respectively in points when purchasing select games and add-ons from the Game Pass library. And furthermore here, Ultimate members continue to have 20% discount on select games from the Game Pass library. On top of that, all reward members will earn points when shopping games and add-ons on the store, while Premium and Ultimate subscribers will earn even more, 2 times and 4 times respectively. And this article here, which is a rumor about the future of Xbox, and that future being software, not necessarily hardware, and we've talked about that in previous videos. It seems as if that's the way Xbox is going. Anyways here, there are serious doubts arising about the next Xbox being released. We're obviously going to have to wait to see what happens moving forward with Xbox, and it is worth noting that this is just a rumor about the future of Xbox hardware, or lack thereof. I mean, we've seen Xbox most recently license stuff out to Asus for the ROG Xbox Ally and Xbox Ally X. And I'm curious to see what does happen moving forward, but sometimes where there's smoke, there's fire. And Xbox has seemingly made a bunch of changes recently, or over the last year or so. Most recently being the arguably unpopular changes to Game Pass Ultimate with a price increase in PC Game Pass. So I am curious to see if Microsoft or Xbox does focus on software as opposed to hardware. And on a side note here, I'm also very curious to see how this reported free ad-supported Xbox cloud gaming option is received by everybody. And if Microsoft decides to add in ads to some of the paid tiers they have. And on a side note here, to add even more confusion and speculation and rumors into the mix, it's also being reported that hardware production on current Xbox consoles this current generation has ceased. Now, if this is true, I would say that may put everything to rest about the future of Xbox hardware produced from Xbox. We'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see if there is an official statement from Xbox at some point in the future, which I would assume there would be. Could be wrong, but who knows? And I think this would also explain the reports of Costco no longer carrying the Xbox Series S and X. And also why in Canada here, you cannot find the Xbox Series X listed at GameStop, only the Series S. And speaking about hardware and changes, next up we're talking about PlayStation, specifically the PS5 Digital Edition. Now we talked about this one in previous videos when it was discovered and then confirmed that the PlayStation 5 Digital Edition in Europe was going to be revised and revamped a little bit, giving you less for the same price. The storage was being reduced from 1 terabyte to 825 gigs. And the shell is a little bit different. It's no longer shiny, it's a matte shell. Anyways, it seems as if this version of the console is being launched in more places, including the US. Now, I'm not joking with you because this is right up on PlayStation's US website, and the listing is titled PlayStation 5 Digital Edition Console, 825 gigabytes. And the price here is $500 or $499.99 if you wanted to be specific. Now, furthermore here, in taking a look at the website, I no longer see the original 1 terabyte digital edition listed, just the 825 gig one. It kind of makes the 1 terabyte PS5 with the disk drive at $550 a little bit more attractive than the digital edition. I mean, not only are you chopping off the disk drive, you're also chopping off 175 gigs of storage for $50. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And speaking about hot topics, next up we're talking about Nintendo. And there was a really interesting rumor circling around online the other day that was quickly stomped out by Nintendo. In a rare move by Nintendo too. Anyways here, the rumor was that Nintendo is lobbying with the Japanese government to push against AI. And I think the source of it was one tweet that got a lot of coverage. And that tweet was, Nintendo is avoiding the use of generative AI to protect its intellectual property. And it is also advancing lobbying efforts with the government. And it turns out that is false. Now, I have seen a number of articles report about this one, and a lot of people talk about this one. And it's interesting because it came from one tweet. How can one tweet carry so much weight? Well, there's a big reason because of that. So listen to this paragraph on Twisted Voxel. Nintendo has reportedly taken steps to lobby the Japanese government in an effort to push back against the growing use of generative AI. The development came to light through a recent post from Satoshi Asano, I might have mispronounced that one, a member of Japan's House of Representatives with the Democratic Party for the People, who has been actively gathering public opinion on AI-related issues via social media. Now, from my experience, Nintendo doesn't normally respond to rumors like this, but I think just due to the magnitude and the importance of the person reporting it or talking about it, Nintendo felt that they had to step in. And here is Nintendo's response. Contrary to the recent discussions on the internet, Nintendo has not had any contact with the Japanese government about generative AI. Whether generative AI is involved or not, we will continue to take necessary actions against the infringement of our intellectual property rights. So based on that statement, I've got a couple of thoughts. Number one here, I think Satoshi Asano, I hope I said their name right, has just lost a ton of credibility. You cannot be making huge statements like that about companies only to have the company disprove everything you've just said. Secondly here, it doesn't seem like Nintendo is going to be changing. They will continue to take necessary actions against infringement of their intellectual property rights. So I see Nintendo as being as vigilant as ever about their stuff. But overall, I don't know here. Let me know your thoughts about this one in the comments below. But I'm going to speculate that with Doug Bowser stepping down and Devin Pritchard stepping up in terms of being in charge of Nintendo of America, I don't see anything changing in terms of how they deal with IP stuff and DMCA stuff and all of that. Could be wrong, but based on that tweet, I don't think so. And aside from that, I'm going to guess that Nintendo will use or already is using AI in some way, shape, or form. Let me know your thoughts. But anyways, that is all I've got for you in this one. Straight to the point, all stuff and no fluff. We talked about a bunch today. Feel free to discuss anything we talked about in the comments below. If you like this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a like. Hit that subscribe button. Check out my other videos. Don't tempt fate. Save your state.